So, he quickly saw like how much I was doing all the time. And he's like, how much are you making like personally? Like, just tell me, like, what are you making? And I ended up telling him, and he's like, stop right now. Like, you can have it all here at FFL. There's several types of different income streams. If you want it, like you can have like that tons of different things that you're trying to do.
All right. Hello, everybody. Grady Polson here, Family First Life America. Beyond excited to have Francesca Hasapes on with us today. New agent coming out the gate swinging, protected over 70 families in her first 2 months, and is absolutely having a great job doing it. It's fun to see her energy, her new, youthful approach to the business. But, I often joke about the youth of America just, being addicted to social media and looking for the easy way out. That's the opposite of who Francesca is she's a very driven person who's focused on protecting families, making money for her own, and seeing how big you can dream. What sort of reality can she create, and what sort of life can she design as she continues to progress down this yellow brick road, if you will, of life insurance sales. And it's fun to see how far she's coming. I'm so excited to see where she continues to go here now and in the future. But without further ado, bringing Francesca on, and how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic, Grady. Thanks so much. I'm blessed to be here today. I'm super excited about Life Center Plan and Enroll. That is a dream come true. Honestly, I was thinking we needed something like that. And Legacy Safeguard, it's everything with FFL is fantastic. You learn everything new every day. Something's always there. And I'm just super excited. So how are you doing today,
I'm
Grady?
wonderful. Thank you for asking. I'm excited too. It's fun to be in a place where there's continual investment into us, right? It's not like you're either growing or dying, right? In everything in life, in business, in personal growth, in your dieting adventures that I'm constantly continuing to be on, in your exercise regime, in all things, right? There's no neutral, right? There's no neutral. And so to be in a company that understands that respects that, capital has to be put up for more capital to be created. It's great to be there, and I'm glad you recognize that as well. But today, this call's about you, about your journey so far in this new fandangled world of life insurance sales, and it's just fun to see you. Every day I log into Slack, and I'm like, there she is, knocking out a new one, different carrier today, different product. Like it's not like you're just selling the same one or two products over and over. The thought process is how best can I serve my client, and that doesn't come in just one small box of just this single carrier. I've got all this grand suite of products, 10 20 plus carriers, 30 40 different products. What can I use to protect Bob and Betty today to make sure that, God forbid, when that day comes, that there's something in place to help protect that household. So I love seeing that with you. But to start, I would love to hear, or for everybody to learn a little bit more about you. What's your backstory? How'd you find insurance, and where we are today?
Sure, sure, yeah. I'll backtrack a little bit and hopefully, maybe this can relate to some of you guys or you guys can understand, why I am the person I am today and how I have this work ethic and how I was actually able to grow at this quick pace. So basically, backtracking a little bit, back in 2012, I was a senior in high school, super excited. I just turned 18, for the new chapter in my life. But all of a sudden, my life was actually shattered before my eyes very quickly in an unexpected tragedy. So I lost my mother and grandmother on 12/12/12, and it was completely, shocking, right? I had tons of support, but I also had a lot of people back away, and they were just like, I don't know how you would ever move on from this. And I thought that was really crazy that people would tell an 18-year-old that, is just beginning a new chapter of her life. Like, I'm just a senior. Like, how are you going to tell me, where to go? So, I realized really quickly that I'm the only person that wakes up in my own body, and I'm the only person that can define my happiness and on the day-to-day life. And I needed to keep living and make sure that I had fun doing it, right? So I ended up going back into high school. 2 weeks later, it was after winter break. So I went back with everybody just to go. I needed to go and enjoy myself. I needed to go back to work. I needed to keep myself busy. and continue to find, you know, the next steps in my life. So I ended up getting scholarships to Embry-Riddle. I won first place in a coding competition. I got scholarships to every state school that I did apply to. I ended up going to FSU, so go Noles, go Noles. But I ended up graduating as well from from high school with straight A's because I was determined to prove all these people like wrong. Like I should not be not happy because this horrible thing happened to me. So I ended up choosing FSU because my amazing sister was already there and she let me move in with her, and we were, you know, continuing to figure out our life together and this new journey, right? So we decided, like, how are we going to be happy every day? And we came across something that was 100 happy days. So it's kind of like the Seinfeld reference that you gave Drake the other day, that it's like there's X, don't break the chain, keep doing it and be consistent. So we chose to look at, you know, what can we find happy in our life every day, big or small? Like there is something there that we can live for. So we found something every day, we continued it, and we just didn't want to break the chain. And so basically that was the start of, you know, how I can be happy every day, because, you know, there's just flowers outside that are blooming. Like everything is really pretty. Like life is really good. And I did not want to stop my life. So basically that helped keep my mind positive. And college just flew by quickly. Like I was already a junior in college. And I ended up realizing, you know, I had some more free time, so I had to keep my mind busy. So I, you know, wanted to make more friends. I wanted to make more connections. So what better way than going to get a job that I can make friends at and make more connections, right? And money. So money and friends, it was a double whammy. So I originally, you know, they didn't want to hire me. I had no experience, and I convinced them I need this job. I want this job. I could do it. It was like a foreign world. It was Thai and sushi. So I had no idea really. It was all like another language. And I'm like, I will learn. I'm a great learner. I got this. So I was constantly learning how to be the best because, you know, right when I started, they give you not good shifts. Like you make 20 bucks and or go home, you're good. So I wanted to stay there. I wanted to make all the money I could, and I wanted to make friends. You know, so I'm like, I could do this. I'm good. If I'm there making $50 in an hour, but I could have made 100, like I want to make that $100. So I stayed really consistent at it. And then I realized in the Thai world that you can actually be a manager and serve on manager pay. So I'm like, I want to get $10 an hour and make these tips versus $5 an hour. Like, this is unreal. Like, this is great. I'm going to do that. So she ended up leaving the manager in place in my senior year of senior year of college. And went up to the boss and I said, I'll be your manager. I'm there. I'm going to be your manager. Like he had no choice but to make me that manager. And so I was the manager. I ended up, you know, staying there for a little bit. I graduated FSU with psychology major, entrepreneurship minor, hospitality. Like, of course, I had to do it all. I didn't know what I wanted to do, but I knew I did it all. And I knew at least using hospitality, I'm going to make it work. I'm going to make something work. So I was happy for a while there. I was doing good. I was making money, friends. I was working out because the trays are so heavy. Like it was a win-win everywhere. Like it was a great time. So I was like killing all these birds and 5 stones, like get it done. I'm there. But now that past manager ended up being my best friend, Annie. I love you. And she's like, hey, like you can run this whole restaurant. Why don't you come to this bigger Thai and sushi restaurant and help me there? So I accepted. I was like, great. So she hired me doing all these tasks, and I quickly learned like I'm a very good multitasker. I can do a ton of things at once. So I was working 6 to 7 days a week. You know, everybody was like, hey, you want to pick up my shift? I'll give you 50 bucks, 100. And I'm like, absolutely. Like, I'm going to take this opportunity in front of me because I don't know if I'll have it later. So I'm going to take it when I can. You know, I'll do everything. I was a bartender doing the drinks. I was doing all to goes, walk-in to goes, phone to goes, tablets. I was managing the front, managing everybody. And I was making drinks, obviously, and taking care of guests. So I made sure everything was running smoothly. But in that time, I was able to make my own schedule. So I was creating my own schedule all the time. So I could work a lot, right? but then I could take off for a long time too and just chill. And then I'd come back to that security of that job. So I was like, this is all fantastic. But then COVID happened. So I'm sitting there through COVID and I worked all through COVID, but all these other people were making all this internet money. And I'm like, I want to make money on the internet while I'm traveling. Like, why can't I do that? Right? I could do everything. I'm going to do it. So I ended up meeting people like online and they were giving me tasks to do. And I didn't tell them I didn't know how to do it. I just figured it out. Like, I'll do your website. Sure. I'll negotiate a lease for Airbnb so you can rent it out. Sure. I don't know what the heck I'm doing, but I'm going to do it. I did Facebook Marketplace reselling, Amazon reselling, like everything. I just was like, I'm going to do it. So basically, I was able to work and travel for a little, and I was able to keep that security there when I came home back into the restaurant. But when I got back into the restaurant after COVID, it was just kind of hard. People were hard with money. And, you can be the best upseller in a restaurant, Grady. Like, I know you upgrading the sake miso marinated sea bass. Like, I was excellent at that too. But when they'd expect to spend $17 and then you're like, here's your $55 tab, they're like, here's a smile. That's your tip today, because I can't afford that. And I didn't know what MP meant, which is market price. That means it's expensive. Right. So I quickly learned, like, tips aren't guaranteed. And if I could sell 12 lobster pad ties to a 12 top, and if I could do that, then why can't I go somewhere and sell something that, actually has a guaranteed commission? So I wasn't really afraid of not having a base pay. I was just like, I want a guaranteed commission at least. So fast forward a little bit, I kept traveling and traveling, trying to figure it all out. And I went to over 10 countries last year. And as I got to, a certain country, I just started hearing all this chatter. And it was about FFL, and it was about all these people in the financial industry making crazy amount of money. So I'm like, I want to do that. And so I went on YouTube and I searched FFL, and that's when I found you, Grady. So I went, on your website, it was like fflamerica.com. And I was like, I'm going to just plug it in. And I was like, I'll get into this tech strip campaign. Fine. Like, just alert me, like, tell me what to do. I need guidance. Like, just take my hand, somebody. And that's when I ended up getting a text saying, hey, watch this guy. He did 100 families in 90 days. Like, just watch him. And so I just plugged in and I was like, this guy's cool. He's chill. He did it. He did it in 90 days. Like, I would love to do that. I want to do that. I could work and I could focus on that. I'll do it. So it ended up, he was really humble and stuff. And I DM'd him and I said, you were great. You're so inspiring. Congratulations. I just let him know, like, that was awesome. And he DM'd me back and said, call me, and just put his number there. So I wasn't going to miss an opportunity. And I was just like, I'm going to call him. And that day changed my life. It was Drake the broker, if nobody knows. It's Drake Jeremani. Yeah. But he just poured his soul into me. Like, he was answering all of my questions. And just instantly, like, he would tell me one thing and I was like, I got to go learn something else. Like, this is awesome. Like, thank you. And then I come back and I tell him that, and he's like, I didn't even know that. And then, we would find something else and then find something else. And it just like pitter pattering back and forth. And I'm like, this is so interesting. So, he quickly saw like how much I was doing all the time. And he's like, how much are you making, like, personally? Like, just tell me, like, what are you making? And I ended up telling him, and he's like, stop right now. Like, you can have it all here at FFL. There's several types of different income streams. If you want it, like, you can have like that, tons of different things that you're trying to do, but just stop and focus on one thing and learn it and master it and put all of your energy into protecting families and do it. So I said, okay, like, I'm doing it. And I want to do 90 days with you. Like, I need someone just to be there with me though. And he brought me onto his team. I had no idea I was his first agent. And, I hit the ground running. I was just like, this is awesome. Like, I could focus on one thing finally. And I just put all of my energy into this. And I'll never look back. Like, this is home. So
That's awesome.
that's how it went down.
That's awesome. What a story. And I mean, it's a testament to who you are, right? That's a big thing with people is, there's the asking opinions of the unemployed brother-in-law who's living on his mother's couch, or it's asking the opinion of someone that's doing really well. And like to hear your story throughout your progression of always wanting to seek throughout your serving career of how can I make more money throughout this process? Oh, I can get paid manager pay, and then I can serve too. Then I go to this bigger restaurant, and then people are going to pay me to pick up their shifts. Like this is great. And then, COVID changed the world, right? And then the world changed, right? Some people broke, and some people broke through, and broke free. And it's great to hear how you progress through that, and then in interlaying your travels. And when you're talking about your restaurant career, it made me remember this thought about how I think. And, some people don't think the way I think, and a lot of people don't think the way you think. And this is just the way we think. And the way I always thought, so I used to serve tables at Ruth's Chris. And I worked my way up from like Mexican food restaurant by the college to like the sushi spot at the mall, then to Ruth's Chris, which is like a Morton's, like a City Hall, like a high level Mastro's type steakhouse. And I'm in my younger 20s, and I can't afford to eat there, but I can definitely serve there. But one of the things is the people that dine there are generally successful people, or people that can afford a $200 or $300 or $400 a dinner for a couple, right? And so what I would always do is I would befriend the table, and then as the dinner progressed, I would say, "Now, what do you guys do for work?" And they would tell me. And some were in mortgages, some were in finance, a lot were in business, some owned a company. And it was always just very kind of like, as my young mind was like, I like I'm serving tables today, but this isn't going to define who I am forever. And that's the message I always try to get across to people is like, whoever you are today is just whom you are today. You don't have the new information to go, but are you seeking new opportunities? Are you seeking new chances, right? A new chance at success, a new place where you could put everything in it and go throw your heart over the bar and chase it and try to figure it out. And so it's great to hear some of my isms in you is like, you're a doer, you're a goer, I want some of that internet money, right? Were you doing Amazon stores and Forex, or what were you all of the above?
Whatever
Whatever
it is, I'm
whatever it
there.
takes. It's, there's people that find a way, and there's people that find their way back to the couch. And they're not the same people. I was listening to this call recently about hunters and farmers, and there's 5% of the world that are hunters. And hunters are this like driven entrepreneur type people. And there's farmers, that people that just want to just do enough to get by, and they're content with that mindset. And there's 5% of the world that are hunters, and there's 95% of the world that are farmers. And it's just, I think that FFL, we've got this massive conglomeration of hunters. And it's just great to be in this environment. It's so, ironic to hear your story, because it mirrors so much of my own, but it's part of your story. And then you just go, okay, so I'm here now, and I'm selling at a high level. What's my next step? Well, my next step is I should focus on building a team to some degree. I've gotten good at selling. Who else can I teach how to do this, and what business could I create? So I love all of it. What a powerful story. So let's transition. Now you're selling, you're working with Drake, who's a workaholic, which, you got, and then I say that with respect, right? You have to. Drake had a great previous career. It didn't put him financially where he wants to be today. Now he sees a great financial opportunity with us, and he's working everything. He's putting his heart and soul into this business, developing his skills, developing his relationships, evolving his software, doing whatever he can to try to protect clients, meet as many as he can. And that's something it's not easy to duplicate, but it's simple to duplicate, right? It's not easy to work 12, 15-hour days. No, it's not easy to do that. But if you don't want an easy life, and you want a great life, and you want financial security, you've got to put forth massive amount of effort to catch up. And so that's where you lies. You can work with him, and we'll continue to evolve that. But I'd love to hear about, like, well, let's jump into kind of your day, right? What's your day to working, and then we'll jump into some leads, and then I want to hear your script, because that's always the magic words, right? Like, if I'm a new agent and I hear your success, I go, well, what do I got to do to be like her? Well, she gets up this, she eats this, she only drinks sparkling water before, what are the uniquenesses that you have interlaced into your life, into your day, that now allow you, and then we'll jump into leads and then your script, which we'll close at that, because that's always the most important part, because I want people to go just copy her words. You don't have to overthink it. Just say what she says, because it's working for her. So we'll get there, but let's start with kind of your mindset, day, approach, week, month, however you're kind of chopping up how you're approaching your day.
Sure. So I've recently just started waking up at 5:30 in the morning. Who would have known that, you have 3 extra hours before 8 a.m. to do whatever you want. So I do it a very peaceful morning. I really like to set my grounds in the morning. I take my vitamins. I have my smoothie. It's always important to make sure that, you can fill your body with the nutrients it needs to maximize the potential that it can perform at, because our bodies are just really powerful machines. But then I go and I just enjoy the outside for a while because we are in the computers all day. So like I take my dog for a couple-mile walk. We just, nobody's out yet. So we're just like sniffing the flowers and just enjoying life and just really just like clearing my mind before I like dive into everything. So it's really just, you should just set the tone, just relax and just enjoy yourself, really. Stretch out. I work out after, shower, I get everything set. But then I get on at 8 a.m. Um, a lot of people, already there. Drake, the broker's there, Sheila Day, Josh Larkhart, like they're already holding it down, but I get in at their 8 a.m. I'm drinking lots of water. It's basically all I do drink. So if that, it's not sparkling, but I do drink regular water. But I go in there, I see our new leads. What really helps me is I do hand dialing a lot. It's very personable. So I take the leads from the spreadsheet and I upload them as a CSV file into Google, and then I just make them into a V card and send them to my phone. So I don't have to actually manually import it. So it does speed that up. But that's part of my morning routine. I check just the email and then I just dive right in. All new leads, I'm calling hand dial. So I like to text people a lot, especially first. We use text replacements. So I do text, like N1 is our text replacement. It says their name, and then this is Francesca Hasapes calling. So that when they have a phone call, it comes up maybe Francesca. And then sometimes on their iPhones, it's already popping up my picture because I shared my contact card with them. So I also share my contact card with them as well. But I hop on, so I'm just dialing. I just get in the groove of dialing. And I just dive right in. I'm not like someone that just practices. I just like jump in. I'm in there, like, let's go. Right. So I'm in there, I'm doing my daily goals, like refreshing at 2 in the morning. I see what I need to prioritize, but mainly it's just to the leads, to the leads, to the leads, like try to get somebody on the phone now. I love one call closes. So the quicker I could get someone on the phone, I'm just like, let's go. But it's after that, I just work until I hopefully get, someone I feel like I feel good. And then I take a little break. I gotta feed myself, feed the pup, get him a good, nice walk again. And then I get back on and I do that over again. So
So
then I'm back to.
is it a goal number? Is it a lead? Is it touching the leads once? Are you triple dialing to start, single dialing? What is your, like, what goes, all right, it's lunchtime. Like, is it a feeling or is it a numerical number that you hit?
So my thing is like, I do try to do numbers, but my thing is I go until I'm exhausted and my stomach's hungry.
Okay. Okay.
I just want to like keep going. And it's like sometimes I just don't even really want to process the numbers. I just keep going. Like I know I'm working, I know I'm doing it, and that's what I'm gonna get through. So,
Okay.
hopefully that's something, but I'm just calling because like if I'm hungry, like I'm not gonna perform at my best anyways. And if the dog needs to go out, he gotta go out. So like it kind of is go out, come back in, refocus, do this.
Now you're in Florida. Are you calling East Coast first, then West Coast? I mean, I know you're 100% virtual. So is there a state process you kind of flow through?
Well, East Coast in the morning, obviously, because it's 8 a.m. I can't be calling California then.
Okay.
Um, Once I get to 9 a.m. though, and then I'm going into Central as well. I'll just hit them both.
Okay.
Um, because it's 8 a.m. So, sometimes people they're happy after their coffee. So I feel like that's kind of, try to get people right before they go into work or on their way to work in the car so that they feel like they got a task done. Like what I like to do is check something off my to-do list so that I feel like, okay, I already did something. I'm going to do something that I can do in 5 minutes for something 30 minutes and get distracted. At least I could do something quick and feel good about it. But then like West Coast, I do West Coast, and I get them at lunchtime. is kind of my sweet spot, 11 to 12, like Western time.
Okay.
So 3 p.m. my time is when I start California. And then I try to go to bed. I try to go to bed early now. So I try to go to bed like by 9 because I'm like up in the morning early. I used to sleep later. So I'm refocusing my whole life.
It's good. I like waking up early because I feel like I'm beating everybody in the world who's not waking up early, which is most people don't wake up early. And just like you said, you get 3 hours in the morning before everybody else. So that's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about leads. What kind of leads are you running? Is it diversity? How hard are you working the new leads? Or is it always new leads? Is it always old leads? Like what's kind of your lead process?
So I do a lot of fresh leads. I do mortgage protection. I'm working clever closers right now. I've been stuck on clever closers because I like them. And I should probably expand to other stuff too, just to maximize. But at this point, they're all fresh leads, but I call them a lot, but I don't like triple dial people. I don't like when people triple dial me. Call me twice, leave me a text message, let me know why you're calling me, and then I'll call you back. And I feel like that kind of relieves a lot of anxiety off people. And I've talked to a lot of people that are like, I fill this out, and people just call me 3 times a day, 3 times a day, and it's a lot, and they don't want to talk to those people. So I've been getting a lot of touch points that I'm like, hey, it's Francesca, what's up? Where you want morning or afternoon? You know, I try to be very personable to people. Like I am a real person. I send them my contact card. It has all my links on it, LinkedIn, my verified producer page. Um, I don't try like, I do want to blow them up, but not really. Like there's tons of people, there's tons of leads. It's really about the right time. So there's no point in blowing someone up if they're at work. You got to respect people's time. So if I call them 2 times and they're like, a lot of times they'll answer because they're like, who's this Francesca calling? I don't know Francesca because it says maybe Francesca. So after, I don't try to blow them up, but I do. But then I go back to all of my old leads. So it just depends, I'll go through all of March or all of February that I bought those leads in. And so it's just different days that I target them. And then I go through days that it's like, all of my touch points that I've already had with people. So if I mark them like yellow, if I have like half of their financial inventory ready. So then I can see colors of, hey, I'll just hit yellow today, or people that, told me to call them back later, but hung up.
Yeah.
So people that I've already got on the phone, then I'll like have those days that I target those people. So
Always your personal phone number? Do you have any other numbers, any burner numbers, anything like that you use?
no, I just started using a CRM. Uh, It's great, a really awesome one. And I haven't dialed at all from it yet, but we do have text automations coming from it. So there's my office line. So yeah, I have a office line now.
One thing I always did was I went to Verizon and I got a $10 line because it's all attached to your same phone. So I'm sure AT&T or Sprint or T-Mobile, all these are Mint if you're a Ryan Reynolds fan. Any of these other number, you can get it just in another because there's power in like the cell phone that's attached to your name because it's got your contact card, which I love how you create it and then text it out to people. But sometimes it's just another actual fully verified number. And for $10 to have it just to be able to swap back and forth, sometimes that's a different angle for those of you that are out there looking for different touch points. But because sometimes they've already blocked you, but sometimes it's all timing. That's it. These are like a lot of leads. Some leads opt in a bunch. Most leads opt in once, and most leads don't get closed. So if you look at a batch of new leads out of 100 leads, 30 got protected, 70 never got talked to because life caught up with them and the agent gave up. So whether that's you, not you as the agent giving up, but whether it's you circling back around or even buying age leads, whether from the CRM or wherever, the access to different age lead platforms are circling back around is just time, right? I was busy. I mean, there's leads I've called 30 times. At the 31st call, it's like, I've been waiting for you to call. It's like, yeah, I know. Sorry, I've been busy. Like you look down, you're like, there's 75 tag marks on this lead card. So that's awesome. So mortgage protection, you like mortgage protection? And I know you find selling IULs through that too. Is that how do you pivot into that?
Yeah, so I'm doing the IULs through it because some people, there's final expense term, like the whole life term, and then the IULs. There's some people with the mortgage protection that, they'll only qualify for equity protection. and that's going to be your final expense. But with the IULs, the way we're tying it in is that we're kind of mixing it in between. It's a term, right? Because you get that high death benefit, but you're getting it with a whole life coverage, and it's going to last longer than that term's going to last. And it also builds that cash value. So you're not actually, like, some people want a term, but they don't want it to ever expire. So in that way, I'm saying, okay, you know, we have this perfect product. It's basically a mix between the two. You can get that high death benefit. It is a little bit more expensive than the term, but you get to keep it, and it also builds that cash value a little. So it's good.
Awesome.
And Mhm.
That's awesome. All right, so let's I'd love for you to kind of roll through your kind of your open taking control script. Like, so you get finally, John finally answers or Betty finally answers. What's your first 30, 60, 90 seconds on that call and the word tracks that you're saying to take control?
Sure. So I'm like, hey, John, it's Francesca Hasapes. I'm calling you with the mortgage protection information you just requested online with Mortgage Protection Now. Can you confirm you're in the state of Florida and you're 40 years young? And they say, like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, great. You know, I know this is not a fun conversation, so I'm just going to make this quick and painless as possible. I'm just the girl that's going to get you the info. We're doing this all over the phone and should just take a couple minutes. So just go ahead, grab a pen and paper. We'll get this out of the way. At that point, either they're busy and they say no, or they get a pen and paper or their iPhone. And so then when they get that, I say, great, perfect. I just sent you a link to your text messages. I actually think I just heard it come through. You see that? And they say, yeah. And so I say, okay, great. Open that up real quick for me. This is a state producer website. You're going to see a picture of me there. You see that? And a little about me. Perfect. Now you can put the face to the voice you're speaking to. Now scroll down. You'll see several products that I'm licensed to provide, but today we're just focusing on mortgage protection. And scroll a little further, you'll see 20 of the states that I'm currently licensed in. Each one of those, you can click and confirm that I'm active in those states in the Department of Insurance, right? In order for me to obtain these licenses, I have to have my background checked, fingerprints, and live FBI scan done in each state to maintain I have a clean record. Scroll down one last time for me. Okay, John, perfect. You're going to see several insurance carriers there. Great. You're probably familiar with some, maybe Mutual of Omaha. Aetna is owned by CVS, right? Perfect. Well, these carriers also do that same check on me to make sure that I have a clean record nationwide. And then I ask them, or I let them know, you know, this is 30 A-rated carriers. There's no need to talk to 20 different agents. I can get this all done in a couple minutes, okay? I'm like the Expedia of insurance. It's easy for you. And then I ask them if they've been shopping around. And usually if they haven't been shopping around, I'm like, perfect.
What if they have been?
If they've been shopping around, I'm like, great. Then you're done. This is a one-stop shop. I'm here. You don't have to open this can of worm again.
Good.
And so I'm saying it doesn't matter which company we go with because they're all A-rated and they'll give you a check or your loved ones a check. The most important thing is that we get you approved, okay? So I can guarantee you that I'm going to get you the cheapest price today, but I cannot guarantee that this insurance company is going to say yes to this request. Does that make sense? And then I'm going to just go through a couple health and basic questions with you. We'll decide what makes more sense for you. Sound good? Perfect. And then I, you know, find out the why. So John, I'm assuming you're more like most people I talk to every day. You're a kind individual and you're looking to protect your family, right? And so then I asked, if you were unexpectedly to die today, who's going to be left responsible for picking up these pieces? And they tell me a story usually. And if it's hopefully people, sometimes people are like, I don't have family, and that's a little sad. But then I let them know I do come with any solution that we decide on. And this is my direct line, and this is the start of my job for you as I continue to make sure you and your family are taken care of in the years to come, especially on the worst days of their life. Okay, I'm going to keep helping this process be smooth and make sure that the claims are paid out quickly. And then I continue on and I say, assuming we're going to find a coverage and amount that's comfortable with you today, is there any reason that, you don't want to make the final, like a request today?
Price.
And
It depends what it costs.
cost. Okay, perfect. So we won't see the cost until we see if we can get you approved for it. Okay. So I can give you a ballpark, but really we have to make this a request and then we'll see. And if it's a good price, then we'll make the deal.
Okay.
Okay. Then I just ask them a couple questions. I let them know I need you to be as honest as possible with me today because anything you don't disclose to me, the big dogs are going to see it anyways. So this is going to help me make this really simple for you. Okay. So then, they end up telling me, I'm like, are you on any prescriptions? They end up telling me everything like B12, with their fish oil and everything. So then they're just like opening up to me at that point. So then I say, okay, so I got everything, did you have surgery, this, that? And I'm like, okay, is there anything else? Because they will check your social. Just like I said, the big dogs are going to see everything. So they're going to check your social to make sure that your MIB, which is the Medical Information Bureau, is on point. Does that make sense? And they usually say, okay. So then I go right there. I'm like, what's your social? And then if they always give me my social or their social. That's the easy part. People are just always giving socials out. And then I keep asking them questions like, what's your job, Johnny? Like, are you working hard? Does your spouse work? Is she protected? And the height and weight. And what about your mortgage? Like, how many years do you have remaining? And at that point, I ask them how many years either they have remaining or when did they buy their home. And that's when I ask if they have like refinanced in it. And then I ask for their home address so I can see like their home is there, everything's good. And yeah, so I basically ask all those questions and then I'm sending them a code from Americo. And I said, do you get that code? And they give it to me. I said, that's the HIPAA form. This is going to see if we have a green light and we can move forward with this request. If it goes green, and then I just let them know that, okay, it looks like the insurance company will give us a price maybe instantly today, see if we can get this coverage. It's about 250,000. We just have to do a financial institution that's on file for you. And then they give me institution. If they don't want the
financial institution, we need to put a financial, how did you say that?
I say, in order for us to move forward, we got the pre-approval, we'll have to confirm your financial institution.
Okay.
And so then they're like, why don't, I don't want to pay for anything right now. I'm like, we don't pay for anything today. It's impossible, right? It's going to take a couple of days for the insurance company, to see if they want to approve you because it's up to them. It's not up to me. I'm just your voice. I will fight for you to get this policy because usually they want the policy. So at that point, they're like, okay, perfect. If they don't want to give me their banking and account, or I do the routing number, they search. They give me the financial institution. I search for that routing account or routing number, and then I tell them to confirm. So if they don't want me to confirm with it, then I send them a screen share. And I said, did you get that link? They say, yes. And it's crank wheel. It just goes straight to their phone. And I said, do you see this? And they could say, yes. And I said, okay, that's all we're doing is putting this in right here.
You saw your screen sharing, your screen showing them on the app.
Yeah, I just screen share my screen to them on their phone.
Okay, that's a clever way to do it.
Yeah, so then we're already in the app. And if it's, if that's what they want, then that's what it is. But after that, they're already screen sharing. And I'm like, see, we can go to any insurance carrier. And that's when I go through all different insurance carriers because I want them to have the best solution anyways. I'm not going to put everyone through Americo. But I also pre-flight through Ethos too, because sometimes people are very quick. So I've been starting to pre-flight through Ethos.
Okay. Pre-flight meaning?
To see if they qualify to go on to the next steps. So with Ethos, which is great, sometimes you only need the last 4 of their socials. Sometimes they don't even need a social. It's weird. I haven't figured out that yet or which policies need what. But sometimes when people are in a rush because they're in the car and they're on their way to work, Ethos is very quick that you can see if they get a decision. And then sometimes after, you actually can see in the like underwriting button why they were declined.
Super
So
helpful.
yeah, so it's a little bit, instead of like a green light through America, Ethos sometimes gives you a hint.
Okay. This is just come through time and speed. So they go perfect. Give them bank information. Now, how are you now? Are you bundling it up right now? I mean, telling them they're approved, not approved? How do you finish it out?
No, I don't tell them if, well, if they are approved or not. If they get the green light and I want them, then I see if they have any other insurance. So I do ask them in my speech, do you have any existing life coverage? If they say yes, I ask them what they have. A lot of these people do have coverage because they just want more. Like people that already have bought coverage are just going to want to buy more coverage. They like it. They like that idea. So if they have a certain term, then I'm asking them what kind of term do they have? Does it like last how many years? Like, so I'm figuring out when that expires. So when I figure out when it expires, I'm kind of piecing together how much their mortgage is, how much extra coverage they need when that expires. If they're paying down their loan, if it's halfway, then maybe they only need, the Americo IUL for like 150,000 instead of 300,000, right? Because they already have some term. So I asked them, what is their term for? What is it designated to? Because there's a lot of people with mortgage protection that are like, this is just life insurance. And we're like, well, yeah, it pays out when you die, but then you can also be like, if they're not in California, or even some of them do living benefits in California, but if it is with California and living, or if it is life benefits, they're like, your insurance that you have right now, it probably doesn't have living benefits. So we'll try to get you something with living benefits. So this can actually help pay your mortgage while you're still living. That's really important to actually, have payments. God forbid you were out of work and you weren't being able to pay your mortgage while you're still living. You actually get to use this while you're still living. So that's huge because it is for mortgage. People are worried that, they are going to get sick and lose their work coverage. A lot of people don't know that if they lose their or if they lose their job, they get sick in the hospital, then they're leaving their job, their insurance drops them, and then they can't get insurance because they're not qualified anymore.
Yeah.
So basically, I kind of do a lot of math equations for them. So I'm able to lower the price or lower the, coverage for them if they have existing, and I help make it make sense for them in my word tracks.
Awesome. How do you so approved, not approved, say approved, hypothetical. How do we close it out? What are the last 30 seconds you're saying to solidify you as their broker? And then what final touch points are you sending after the fact to keep, thank you card from text, email, cookies, flowers? Anything you do at the very end to solidify the sale?
Yeah, so to solidify the sale, usually if they are hopefully approved right on the spot, so we'll pretend they are, I'll be like, congratulations, like this is so great. We got you this coverage. The payment's going to come out in 24 to 48 hours. On that first payment, you're immediately covered. This is active coverage. So, I do come with the policy again. I want to let you know, you will get this policy in about 10 to 15 business days. I'm going to call you in about 2 weeks, and then we'll figure out, go through the policy together, see if this is a right fit still for you, see if you want to increase or decrease. We'll make sure that you're happy and satisfied. Now, when you take this policy in the mail, you're going to put it in your safe, and you're going to give your friends, or you're going to give whoever your beneficiary is, my contact card, so they can call me on the worst day of their life. Make sure you're saving my number in your phone, because it's really important that if you have any questions, you want to fix your billing, if you have a new card, that I can help you do that. And I can help get in contact with the insurance carriers, because the insurance carriers don't work 7 days a week. I do. So I'm here for you, on any time I work 8 to 8 p.m. or 8 to 11, whatever I tell them, I'm there all day for them, 7 days a week. And a lot of times they love that. So I say, I'm going to schedule a call for 2 weeks. Like, I'm really glad you were approved today. That's really, really terrific that you can help your family today, because a lot of people, they don't qualify for this coverage. And when they do, if they don't qualify, they really want this coverage. So it's important that I tell them, like, you got accepted, like, this is great. And, congratulations. Like, I hope you feel good about this because you're helping your family. So then I call them back in 2 weeks and we go through the policy review. That's when I ask like golden questions, if I knew about their 401k or stuff. I'm like, now, do you see that, you can make your money grow without any downfall of the market, right? So they already knew kind of that I was already asking them in the presentation before, which I probably didn't say, so sorry guys. But I asked the golden question in the script. And then after 2 weeks later to help them with that, because I do want to make sure that they have that immediate coverage first. So then after, 2 weeks, talking to them, ask golden questions, see if we could set up another appointment. If not, I'm like, if you have anybody, if you thought this was a great service, and you know anybody that would like some help, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help your family, your friends. Just give them my contact card. I'll reach out in about a year and we'll see if you're doing good from there.
Oh,
So no treats. Sometimes I do send Amazon gift cards, e-cards.
if
Well, if if all their families with them, like, if they have their kids multiple policies, they're definitely getting something from me. If they refer me to anybody, they're definitely getting something from me.
Yeah.
If I just like them, then they're gonna get something from me. If I had a good time, which I like all the people, to be honest, they're all really nice.
Yeah, you gotta be a good person to want to spend money to give money to people when you die. Like you're generally good people, which
Yeah,
is
they're, you know, so
that's awesome.
that's that.
Now you can
But
offer them Legacy Safeguard, which is even another benefit.
yeah, I'm pumped about that because I've always been sending people like do your own will.
Yeah, now you got
Yeah.
it. So, well, awesome, Francesca. You smooth. You're just smooth, controlled. You keep control. I can tell by the way you don't let yourself get flustered if they say something. You understand the power in a pause, right? You're holding your tone. You're not getting too excited or too frustrated or anything. This is what we need to do. I'm the broker. My job is to facilitate this request. We're moving you along forward. Your shopping's over. I'm going to take care of it, and then I'm going to help you navigate the big dogs, which is fun. Now here, let's give it the final advice. Final advice for the new agents out there, or the existing agents out there that want to start to follow you in your footsteps. What do we got to close us out today?
I got a lot of stuff to close it out. No, financial freedom is one relationship away, first of all. So I mean, FFL, it's true that there are so many resources you need to be successful, and you just really truly should pick a leader that you want to do what they're doing, but just try to do it 150% better, right? They already gave you the blueprint. They already gave you like a step-by-step guide. So why not make it better? Like, take things from everybody, grab it and make your own recipe. Because, then go back to them and ask intelligent questions once you like found out a lot of stuff, because that's just going to help your conversations with everybody go so much further, right? But next, like, every sale is a gift. So like, always think about it as you're giving somebody a gift, the carrier is giving you a gift. Don't give them a gift that they can't provide and maintain like later, right? So you don't want to always give them and put them into the biggest policy, because sometimes it's scary and it's permanent. And so, a happy client's always going to be your best client. Like, don't be afraid to downsell people and just be like, look, you got approved with this. Let's keep it going. Like, let's add on something later, because if it's too high and they're super excited about that sale, like, they're going to realize in a couple weeks that they can't afford it. And now they wanted something for their spouse anyways, but now they can't afford it. And they're not going to be like, hey, Francesca, I can't afford this anymore because that's embarrassing. They're just going to go and stop payment at the bank and they'll just block you, right? So you don't want to force them into something like too much. You want them to just be relaxed. You want them to be comfortable. And then you want them to be able to get their spouse or their kids something. And you want them to refer you to people because it's important. People don't want to make that commitment in the beginning. But once they get their wheels turning and they're like, this isn't bad, like, it's like another Netflix account, and they're just comfortable with it. But the most important thing really is you got to have the right mindset, like a whole mindset shift. But like once I realized I have control over myself and my life, as long as I was a good person, I could do anything I set my mind to. It was game over, right? So it's easy to assume that there's only one world in front of us. But when you look deeper, you realize like I have my own two eyes and Grady, you have your own two eyes. Like I'll never be in your footsteps. Like I wish I was. I hope I am one day. But we all have this unique view of the world. And you realize once you realize that, you realize there's billions of worlds happening and going on all in one world that we're in. And it completely just shatters the notion that life is the way that it is, right? So because life isn't the way that it is, it's the way that you see it. So the moment you realize that, it's the moment that you're shifting from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Okay. And the next most important mindset shift is when you shift from a victim mentality into the creator consciousness. Okay. So, I didn't want to be stuck in a victim mindset thinking like everything was done to me. And I hate when people cast blame on something that like everything happens, it's everyone's fault but my own. Right. So I didn't want to see life that I had no power, but I wanted to see life that I had the power to completely change and create the reality that I wanted to live in. So like realizing this, that it opened my eyes that successful people create their own realities. And that's the reality like I wanted to live. Like I wanted to create and change the reality and make it happen. So, I could wake up, create my own schedule and live a powerful, meaningful life if I worked hard. I just had to make some money and do it. But, you know, one of the biggest life lessons is like you can't control what you can't control, but what you can control is, your future. And that landed my future here at FFL. So
Amen. I love it. Powerful stuff and so much truth in there, Francesca. It was wonderful to have you on. It's been only a few short months, and to see how far you've come so far, it's exciting to see what you're going to do here in the near future and beyond. So keep
thank you so
rolling. Drop a
I,
FH. Go ahead.
I said I can't wait to be like in 6 years here. So, with the whole team of agents just like me.
That's right. I'm in year 7, and it only gets better because it's the company and the opportunity only continues to evolve and create more tools for us. So keep rolling. Great job to you. I'm beyond proud to get to work with you each and every day and to see how many families you keep protecting. So great job. Keep rolling. Thank you.